Welcome to Aligned for Success podcast, where we help chiropractors create practices that truly serve their life's vision. I'm your host, Dr. Nikki, and I'm here to show you how to break free from stagnation, grow your practice, and rediscover the joy of why you became a chiropractor to begin with. Whether you're looking to boost your revenue, spend more time with family, or simply enjoy practice life again, you're in the right place. Let's align your path to success. Today, I want to share with you guys a story about my upbringing and then something huge that happened to me in my life that really impacted who I became as a person and especially as a business owner and just a straight up worker in general. So my parents got divorced when I was 15, and when I moved with my mom, so me and my brother went with my mom, and then my sister stayed with my dad, which, like, looking back at that, I don't know, that's kind of bizarre. But anyway, my sister was like a senior in high school, and I think she just chose who could I get away with doing more bad things with. Sorry, Sam. But anyway, when we moved out, I remember my mom just telling me a story about never putting myself in a position where I couldn't take care of myself, whether that was when I was dating someone, when I was just growing up, etc. So that really resonated with me. And there were also times in my life, I remember one instance in chiropractic school when I was dating this guy and he asked me to go to dinner at the Melting Pot. And like, that place is kind of expensive when you're in chiropractic school. And I had legit no money. And I told him I couldn't go. And he got kind of pissed. And so finally I was just honest. And I was like, hey, look, like, my mom raised me not to ever go out on a date with the expectation that someone's going to pay for you. That if I was going to go on this date, I could potentially have to pay for me and you both. And like, bro, I don't have the money. And he was like, okay, like, I actually really respect that, but just be honest with me. I'm like, well, that's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, I always grew up thinking that I had to be able to take care of myself no matter what. So when I was 25 years old and I was in chiropractic school, I dated a very handsome, very schmoozy guy that stole my identity. I met a random guy over Christmas break at a bar in Philadelphia with my sister. And somehow this dude like schmoozed his way into my entire life in Atlanta. I'm talking within a couple of months. He moved from Philly to Atlanta. He moved in with me. And the next thing I know, this guy is like stealing from me. It took me over a year to figure out that he was opening credit cards in my name. He was taking rent checks and not paying our rent and just literally stealing my money. You guys might be like, wow, Nikki, you're so dumb. Yes, 1000%. I was so dumb. I was 25 years old and I made a really bad decision. I can definitely own up to that. It was really hard when I realized how bad this was, and I had to call my mom and ask for help. So I was like, hey, mom, here's what's going on. Her and my sister drove overnight from Philadelphia to Atlanta. They packed up all this stuff and my mom got the locks changed. My mom is like kind of scary and intimidating. And when he got home from work, he knocked on the door and she answered, and he was honestly scared shitless. So, and she told him not to come back. And basically I never saw or spoke to this person ever again. And now the fun started where I had to take a very real look at how serious this situation was and figure out a way to get out of it. So basically, being in chiropractic school, you're already broke. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just kind of deal with this when I graduate school. And that's exactly what I did. So my first job out of chiropractic school, I was literally getting paid $1,600 a month. And I was also completely broke. So what I did was I had to start paying this money back. It was severely affecting my credit and my ability to literally do anything. Plus, it was really stressful just knowing that I had $30,000 of credit card debt that I didn't even do myself, just looming over me. At the same time, my student loans payments became due. And this was before there was like income driven payments. My payments were like $4,000 a month. And like I just told you, I was literally making $1,600 a month. So I did what any dumb new grad would do. I took a forbearance on my loans. So now we're talking about like taking a bad financial situation and just literally making it a million times worse. I didn't know what a forbearance was. I didn't know how it worked. All I knew is that it bought me 2 years time to not have to pay my student loans. I didn't know that all my interest would accumulate. I didn't know how that would affect me literally for the rest of my life, but I did whatever I thought I needed to do to just survive. So as I get these payments rolling, I did like a debt consolidation program and I still couldn't pay the payments. So I got a second job. And I was working as a chiropractor doctor during the week, and I was working in the evenings and on the weekends at the European Wax Center in Tuscaloosa answering phones. So I never thought to myself, like, I'm a doctor, I'm too good for this. I literally was like, I will do whatever it takes to get myself out of this horrendous financial situation that I didn't do myself, but I allowed it to happen to me. So I worked there for 2 years and I paid off every single dollar of that debt. I also met one of my best friends there, Leslie. And so it was obviously worth the working 7 days a week. And honestly, being in Tuscaloosa was a really hard time in my life. And that job provided me meeting people who I had a lot in common with. And so at the end of the day, it was a great experience. But most importantly, I climbed my way out of $30,000 in debt by working a second job. So I'm telling you guys this because when I graduated school, my journey was 100% not easy. I had 3 associate jobs. The first one, at the time, I cried every day. It was really hard. I had a hard boss, but man, looking back, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life because he taught me so much about just grit and what it actually would take to someday maybe have a practice of my own. And then the second one was where I was making literally $1,600 a month. And then I had a good associate job in Gulf Shores, Alabama. So I moved from Tuscaloosa to Gulf Shores. And that's the one where I told you all about in the first episode that I just got let go very unexpectedly. So being an associate turned business owner in between working literally a second job, answering phones, scheduling people for waxes. So it was literally a wax center scheduling people to get their vagina waxed. And again, it was just a really great learning experience of grit and determination to pull myself out of a bad financial situation. If you guys are listening to this and you're like, well, I don't have any money to get started. I don't have any money to pull myself out of something. I am here to tell you that with determination and some grit and hard work, you can literally figure it out. You can pull yourself out of a horrible financial situation that you think potentially has ruined your life forever. My credit score was in the 300s and now it's in the 800s. And so credit is not something that I have to worry about anymore. We're very careful with credit cards. But I learned so many lessons from this boy who stole from me. His name is Anthony. I'm not afraid to tell y'all what his name is and what he did to me, but he was literally a con artist. And so young Nikki learned a lot of valuable lessons that truly have carried me well into adulthood. So learning more how to read people better, how to not just move in with someone that you hardly even know, who lies to you, how to make more money when you feel like it's impossible, and how to just be able to have figure out ability. One of the most important tools that you can have in life is how to figure stuff out. And being a victim of fraud and identity theft really taught me a lot about myself. And most importantly, I got myself out of that situation. And I just learned that I would never allow myself to be in that situation again. Bringing this full circle back to my mom, had she not instilled that in me, I probably would have just filed bankruptcy, cried and never figured out a way to do it, I would have just depended on someone else to pull me out of that situation. So again, if you guys are listening and you're in a tough financial spot, you can figure this out. You can literally do anything, and I'm here for you. So send me a message. I can help you try to figure out what should you focus on first with a debt pay down process, because that was super helpful to me as well. And then just having people be my cheerleaders throughout the whole way. I am your cheerleader. I am here for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I will see you all next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Aligned for Success. If today's episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe and leave a review. This helps other chiropractors find their way to practice freedom too. Remember, true success comes from when your practice aligns with your life's purpose. Until next time, I'm Dr. Nikki, reminding you that a thriving practice and a fulfilling life go hand in hand. See you next week.